So early this morning, reading the news, always looking for something fresh and interesting to discuss. And this article pops up that I found fascinating and disturbing in all the wrong ways. Some disturbances are good. This one's not good. Student evaluations of instructors show bias against female professors. Now, before we get into that, just speaking generally about these student evaluations, I personally find them ridiculous. Because it puts students on the same footing as their instructor. And I understand why universities want to be inclusory, they want feedback from students, but you can go a little too far. Some of these evaluations from students have like 50 different things they're rating on a scale of meow meow to meow meow. And the students enjoy it because it gives them usually a modicum of revenge against a teacher they don't like. Rarely do students, in my experience, and speaking with my peers, rarely do the good students and the students who love the class say that. They either don't do the evaluation or they just, mark it in the middle. It's very rare for students who rave about a class in person to rave about a class in a student evaluation of the instructor. And here's the problem. A student is taking a course usually because they don't know something and they're learning something. But in today's society, to not know something or to admit that someone knows more than you do is seen in some cultures as a threat. Who are you to think you know more than I? We're all created equal. Well, in a university setting, we're not all created equal. There is the instructor, the professor, the teacher who knows more than the student, or the student wouldn't be there. So when these students, in some of their evaluations, I got out of teaching before these student evaluations took off, these students begin to pick at the scabs of the instructor. Well, who is she to tell me what I know? I know more than she does. She's wrong about this, I'm right about that. So it becomes this weird way of getting a strange sort of revenge against the instructor. And the teachers know that, and I know a lot of teachers who just say, look, I don't want to read the evaluations because why do I want to listen to somebody who doesn't know anything that they're talking about? They like me personally, they don't like me personally, they like my style, they don't like my style. That's one person, one voice. Why should I change? I have tenure, I'm here, I'm teaching. And that's what the university is trying to prevent. Oh no, you're a great superstar teacher, but listen to these 3 people in a class out of 100 who don't like you and fix it. That's always the inherent threat from these student evaluations. And the university loves it because it gives them a foothold and a toehold against the instructor. Well, over the last 5 years, you had a 7 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10 for sensitivity about meow meow. It's a pattern we're starting to see with you. So that puts you on notice. Oh, well, maybe I need to teach differently. Maybe I'm too harsh. Maybe I should soften up. Maybe I should dumb down my class a little bit so I get my evaluations higher. That's the threat. And of course, the university wants that. Oh, we have the highest rated professors of any university on the East Coast or West Coast or in between. Because we have threatened our instructors to dumb it down, make it easier, raise your evaluation rate so the students are happy. And as I have said here in this live stream and on my blog and many other places, the students are not the university. The students are part of a greater infrastructure. The university belongs to the university. And students, and many of them don't like to know this, are transient. They're there for a limited amount of time. They're in, they're out. Now, when they're there, Some students think that they run the place and that they can threaten and cajole and make trouble and give low evaluations to instructors that they don't personally like. And the smart institution, the smart university says, thank you for your evaluation. We'll pass it on to the teacher and let it go. And let the teacher decide what to do. Oh, but if you get too many negative evaluations, well, you're gonna have a meeting with the dean about that. Has it swung too far the other way? Oh, now the students are in charge. Now the students run the university. They're only there for 3 or 4 years, 5 years. But oh, no. Whatever a student says, even though they're, graduating in May, we have to have a big meeting, listening to all these complaints the students have. I don't think that sort of attitude empowers a student. I don't think that sort of attitude encourages a student to get along in the world when they leave the university. And that's why some of them don't leave. They stay 4, 5, 6, 7 years. They go for the MA. They go for the PhD. They like this intellectual coercion and emotional manipulation that they have come to love and expect in the university milieu. They graduate. They go into the real world. They're going to be the ones getting evaluated. They're not going to be evaluating their boss. They're not going to be standing up. They're not going to go to HR and make a complaint. That's the first thing you learn out of school. Human resources is not your friend. Human resources is there to protect the company. Human resources is there to flip it around on you. Make you look like the troublemaker. Make you look like the complainant. Not the other way around. They'll tell you, we're here for you. Oh, let us know any complaint you have. We'll write it down and put it in your file. And then we'll see what happens. So the university experience can be wonderful if you have the right attitude. And to me, the right attitude that I had as a student is, I don't know anything. I am paying a lot of money to come and learn things from people who know more than I do. And yes, some of them are terrible people. And some of them have no interest in getting to know the students or to have fun with students or to change how they teach. That's part of preparing yourself for the experience of being a citizen in the world. You cannot complain. You cannot evaluate others to bend them to your will. But in a university setting, that can be the message for these students. Oh, you don't like your professor? Oh, okay, well, go complain to the dean and make a complaint and write a letter, and we'll take disciplinary action against that instructor. Okay, will that make you feel better? Well, it might, and the teacher might get in trouble. But that does not translate to the real world. That does not help these students prepare for what's about to come. And they will find that out rather quickly. And unfortunately, from some of the star students I know who happened to be female, when they get out in the world, they very quickly discover in the world outside of academe that they don't seem to have as much value and importance as they felt that they had in a university setting, that the world is against them, that there's discrimination. And some of them are surprised. I do all this work. I work long. I work hard. I'm smart. I don't make as much money as the guy next to me. And he's dumber and not been here as long. Is it because I'm a female? It's an interesting question. And these student evaluations showing bias against female professors is, look out. Because now it's being quantified in the real world, inside the ivory tower of academe, where everyone is created equal at all times. Despite earning more than half of all doctoral degrees conferred in the U.S., women are significantly underrepresented in faculty positions at universities and colleges. This is particularly true of tenure-track and tenured positions, with women making up just over a third of all full professorships. Women are also less likely to receive tenure or be promoted to full professor, a situation known in the academic term leaky pipeline, where women's representation continues to decline the further they advance in their careers. In male-dominated fields, like economics, the statistics are more drastic. Women represent only 17.5% of economics professors, but earn 35% of economics graduate degrees. I will post a link to this article about this study in the Discord server in our live links section. According to social role theory, gender inequity arises from cultural beliefs and expectations about women and men. Women are overrepresented in low-status caretaking roles, which shapes beliefs and expectations about them being communal, helpful, kind, and concerned with others. Men, however, are overrepresented in high-status provider roles, which reinforces beliefs and expectations about being ambitious, authoritative, and competent. So here's the experiment. This is how they did the study. Universities use different methods for conducting teaching evaluations. To allow for direct comparison across institutions, researchers created their own standard survey for the study. Participants included nearly 1,200 undergraduate students, all of whom were enrolled in a Principles of Economics course. The students were taught by 7 faculty members at 5 institutions. First 3 questions were gender neutral. Students were asked if they would recommend the course, recommend the instructor, and whether they found their instructor interesting. Next, they were asked if they found their instructor to be knowledgeable, challenging, both of which are widely seen as male-like qualities. The final 2 criteria asked students to evaluate how approachable and how caring the instructors are, qualities usually associated with women. These were anonymous surveys. On the second day of class, female instructors were rated significantly lower than male instructors on all 3 gender-neutral criteria: recommend course, recommend instructor, and interesting. The male learning criteria of being challenging. There was no significant difference between male and female instructors observed for the communal qualities of caring and being approachable, with women ranking only slightly higher. Results showing from time 1 and time 2, male instructors improved on every trait after the second exposure. At the time of the second exposure to these students, female instructors were still rated significantly lower than male instructors on all 3 gender-neutral qualities and both male-leaning qualities. The gender discrepancy between time 1 and time 2 was really driven by male instructors' evaluations improving over time. This finding indicates that students view male instructors more favorably as time goes on, which was not at all the case for the women. It was clear that exam grades made the evaluations split apart, even though there was no significant difference in exam grades between female and male instructors. As we predicted, this difference indicated a clear backlash against female faculty. So if a female graded a student with a B, they expect an A. A male graded a student with a B, expecting an A. The hatred and the resentment was focused on the female for giving the same grade as the male because, this study argues, students blame women for the lower grade. When department chairs and administrators look at teaching evaluations and hiring, and it's true, you apply for a new position at a new university, they say, hey, give us your last 5 years of student evaluations, if you can believe it. They might have 2 candidates with similar scores separated by only a couple of decimal points. They should choose to interview or hire the candidate with the slightly higher teaching scores without knowingly making a gender-biased decision. So that's the problem. Women get lower evaluations than men, and they want to move up. They want to get a promotion, want to move to a new school. And for some reason, oh, look how low her scores are compared to this other guy from another university. And this study suggests that these biases are inherent and intended, even if they're not knowingly intended. Universities currently have few formal ways of taking set gender bias into account when it comes to performance evaluation, promotion, and tenure. Addressing the issue could help universities retain female faculty and repair the leaky pipeline. So there you have it. That is academia today. Students are in charge. And if you're a female instructor, look out, because they're coming for you, whether they realize it or not. And now it's time for our final blood pressure break of the day, returning in a moment.